Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Walking Dead video. So here's another Q&A video here. First of all, thank you so much for posting all of your questions. If you do want to take part in these Q&As, then definitely go and join the Discord. The server name is Appetite for the Dead. The link for it should be in the description of this video, but let's actually get into the Q&A here. Actually, first of all, I do want to mention one thing really quick. Actually, first of all, make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all my Walking Dead content like this, but let's actually get into one thing that I wanted to get into here before we get into the Q&A, and that is just a reminder that Andrew Lincoln's new series is going to be premiering at some point, I believe, this fall. So we don't have an official release date, but I know that that sort of is, I think, what is out there right now. Is that I think it's going to be coming out in the fall. So even though we aren't getting like, any sort of Rick Grimes news right now, that is something to look forward to. And it's going to be something that we can actually like watch that is sort of similar to The Walking Dead. Like, I don't know what type of character he'll be playing, but like, the story kind of sounds very similar to a lot of the drama that happens with like the characters on The Walking Dead, because it's a thriller and the show is called Cold Water and a bunch of stuff happens. And Andrew Lincoln is like the star of the show, this and that. And so I imagine that, the acting there, it's a 6-episode limited series. So there is that. I think that honestly, for the character, like it might feel a lot like Rick Grimes. So we'll have to wait and see. But that is something that I'm really excited about. I can't wait to actually like watch the show, because I think that to see Andrew Lincoln in something like that will be different, because ever since he left The Walking Dead like years ago, like he hasn't necessarily done anything else. Like he was in that TV show that was it was on Netflix. It was like a 1-episode thing. I know he did a movie called Penguin Bloom, and then he's been in a few plays, like stuff with the theater and all of that. So like he hasn't really done a lot, over the last however many years. And then obviously The Ones Who Live was like the big thing he did, right? So this show is going to be actually kind of cool to see, because it's going to be like an actual TV show that is a thriller, and the story is going to be similar to like the drama I would say on The Walking Dead. Like obviously there won't be walkers, and the story won't be about all of that, but in terms of the drama with the characters and stuff, that stuff is all going to be there. So I'm excited to see that. And again, it's going to be coming out this fall. I'm expecting a trailer at some point soon, and whenever that does come out, I'll do a video breaking down all of that, and I will review this show, because I'm really interested in seeing this complete story. It's only 6 episodes, and I just want to see what Andrew Lincoln does in a role that could be really similar to Rick Grimes. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, anyways, let's get into the Q&A here. So could we see the Croat team up with Maggie and Negan and come up with an elaborate plan to, I guess, take down the Dama? Since the showrunner has been talking about this season being full of unexpected twists. Love all that you do. Thank you so much. I have a hard time believing that, because I feel like the Croat is so just like, I don't know, just so devoted to the Dama. Like, I know what you mean by like he sort of looks uncomfortable, but it's kind of hard to say if that is like an uncomfortableness or if that's just sort of how he is in general. It's really hard to say. I think he's devoted to her, and I think for Negan, if there was a plan this season to be like, okay, we got to try to get the Croat on our side and go against Dama, I would not trust him at all. I really wouldn't. I think if he did something like that, it just wouldn't be the smartest thing in the world. So I don't know. Personally, I don't trust the Croat at all. I think that he is so just like committed to Dama's vision for everything. So Q&A, if you were to pick out of the 3 Walking Dead spinoffs to be a part of, which one would you choose to survive in? You would have to deal with the villains, types of walkers, and environments existing in those spinoffs. I think that, I guess if I had to choose out of all 3, it's so hard to say. I feel like, actually, when you really think about it, all 3 shows have very different types of environments to survive in, right? Like with The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon, you could argue that it's a little bit easier, but probably not because of the variant walkers, right? Like that's probably maybe the most terrifying, but then you look at The Ones Who Live, and like the CRM are very, very dangerous. And like, unless you're Rick Grimes, you're probably dead. So like, I don't know if maybe, being in Dead City as well. I think I might have to say Dead City, to be honest, because they're just dealing with normal walkers. And the environment isn't necessarily the most, I guess, scary to deal with. Like, yes, there are parts to it that I think would be kind of, I guess more difficult to live in. But I think overall, I probably would have to pick Dead City over The Ones Who Live, because dealing with the CRM would be honestly just so frustrating. And I think, obviously, The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon, with the variant walkers, you do not want to deal with that, right? I think for trying to survive anyways, like you wouldn't want to deal with that. Q&A. From the main show, what The Walking Dead character do you see yourself as? I think the character that I really want to try and be, that I'm like really inspired by, I guess would be Rick Grimes, just because of just who he is as a father and, his devotion to protecting them and keeping them alive. Like, that was something that for me personally, when I was watching The Walking Dead years ago, like way before I became a father, I looked at that and was like, I want to be a father like that, right? Like, I think in terms of like a father figure, Rick Grimes, and the lessons I learned, at least from The Walking Dead, like, the earlier seasons anyways, like, it was something that I was just like, oh, I really want to be that person. But I feel like personally, I'm probably more like Daryl, where I'm alone, right? Like obviously I am a father and whatnot, but I would say I probably more feel like I am alone sort of in the world, and a lot like Daryl. So I'd probably have to say that, like, yeah, I hope to maybe, one day be somebody like Rick, but I think I'm probably more like Daryl. But that's not saying anything bad about Daryl at all. I'm just more talking about, the fact that he does feel like he's more alone, right? And I would say that's probably personally how I sort of feel. But yeah, anyways, next question. Q&A, what TWD poster is your all-time favorite? I think looking back at all of the posters, it's so hard to say. There are a lot of posters that I really, really liked. I'm trying to think of the posters that absolutely just like, they were just incredible the first time I ever saw them. I feel like around season 4 or season 5, some of the stuff with No Sanctuary, I think was probably one of my favorites, even though I don't have the poster. The more recent posters that I really do like, I would say probably are Dead City Season 2. I think that the artwork is absolutely incredible. Like, it literally, like, just look at the Dead City Season 2 poster. So if I had to look back over the years, I might have to say probably that, unless there's some really cool, like, Whisperer poster that I'm not thinking of right now. Q&A, for The Walking Dead, would you want to see more global stories for The Walking Dead or focus more on the States? From like countries like Japan, Australia, Germany, Finland, etc. Or if we focus on the States, we go to the West in Portland or maybe even Alaska. And if we do a story in Alaska, we could maybe see Althea and Isabel return. I think that, doing global stories is exciting. I think that right now, that's kind of one of the reasons why I like The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon and sort of the direction of that show right now, is you're able to actually do that. And I don't know if in the future there's going to be a lot of, shows that can actually do that. So like, you might as well start doing that right now while you can, because I do think the show is mostly going to be in the US because of, Rick Grimes is there and all of our main characters are there. So, I think that as of right now, yeah, definitely do a lot more global stories, but in the future, it's likely going to be set more in the States just because that's where the current story is set in, right? So Q&A, what do you think they have planned for these groups, if they're going to be against both sides or choose one? I do think there's going to be a lot of twists here for the story for Dead City. I think that Bruegel might be, maybe on New Babylon's side. Honestly, I'm trying to not predict it as much because I don't think I'm going to get it right. Like, I do think the twists that are going to be happening here this season are going to be something that is just more shocking. Like, I could totally see Herschel joining Dama, and then maybe, we're all expecting Bruegel to be the villain and like, maybe go against Dama, but maybe he doesn't at all. Like, I don't know where it's going at all this season. And that's exciting because I feel like with a lot of these shows, we know where the story's going, or we have an idea as to like where this group is going to be, by the end of the season. And, a lot of times we are wrong, or at least I am wrong. But like, I think it's so awesome that we can't really predict, where the story is going, because I feel like, a lot of the times it's pretty easy to predict, or I don't want to say it's easy to predict because I'm wrong a lot. So like, I don't want to say that, but like, generally I feel like we have an idea as to where a story could go with The Walking Dead. And I would say that with Dead City, it's so hard to say because the story can really go anywhere. Like, there's so many places the story can go. So I'll say as of right now, I just think that Bruegel is probably going to be on his own, and he'll be a villain that is really set up for season 3. I feel like he's going to be obviously in this season here. He'll play a big role this season, but I think that by the end of the season, he'll be on his own and that there's a lot more to his story. Q&A, I'm not caught up on Dead City yet, but my question is, do you think Gimple will talk more about the future of the Walking Dead universe at San Diego Comic-Con in July? Also, are you planning on reviewing the last 2 episodes of The Last of Us Season 2? I look forward to hearing your thoughts on that. I do plan on like reviewing The Last of Us Season 2, I guess the last 2 episodes here. It's kind of crazy that there's only 2 more episodes left. I'm just in the middle of moving right now, so there's just so much stuff happening, like in terms of packing and getting all of that done. So like, I will get to that like right away. It's not gonna be like The Last of Us Season 1 where I just don't really get to it at all. Like, I will cover that. It's just, yeah, right now I just need to find the time. But for Dead City, or actually the future of The Walking Dead, yes, I do think there is going to be some stuff happening at Comic-Con. There has, like, I mean, I've seen a lot of rumors about the future of the Walking Dead universe, and it seems like there's a lot of excitement for, I mean, I guess some reveals happening soon. So I don't know if that's Dead City and the last 2 episodes of this season. I don't know if that's a new spin-off coming out soon, but it seems like there is stuff that is out there. So I will say that, yes, I think we're going to get a pretty big update on quite a bit of stuff here going into Comic-Con here this summer. And also The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon Season 3, there's going to be a trailer for that, and that show's likely going to be out in October. We'll get the release date and all that then. So a lot to look forward to right now with The Walking Dead. For the rest of the year, it's actually going to be a lot of fun, and I'm excited because for the last however many months of this year, it hasn't been the most fun, and also last year was just kind of, I mean, 2024 just was not a great year for The Walking Dead. But anyways, I'm gonna leave it here. Definitely post all your thoughts down below. Hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.